It's great to grow more trees on our land, but how can we do it while we're still growing food? Here's one solution. It's called alley cropping, and Alan Collins is going to show us how he gets extra benefits as well. I'm Dr. Wendy Seabrook from Learning from Nature.
Hi, my name's Adam Collins. So where we're farming is on the southern end of the Atherton Tablelands. We're at an altitude of 1,000 metres.
So even though you're in tropical North Queensland, it can get pretty cold up here and you get
in the
frosts
winter we get
and
frost.
Things.
In fact, we've had it down to minus 14 here. So what we're doing here is that this is a trial area to see how we can incorporate trees into the landscape, but in a way that they fit in with what we do and what we grow. And that also has to fit in with the machinery that we use. There's only two of us that work most of the time here. In fact, most of the time it's just me. And so I'm doing trial spacing here between these lines of trees that we're going to grow, and the trees that we're going to grow are going to be trees that will benefit the environment, benefit us. In other words, would they be fiber, fuel, fruit, floral, in other words for the honey flow, but also creating a microcosm for the microorganisms in that area, but also creating a space between where we can still farm what we have to, like potatoes or garlic or onions, and still maintain using our machines that we've already developed for those jobs. Instead of having the trees closer together, which in some systems they have it in order to produce the biomass, what we're doing is we're creating the biomass by growing green manure and cover crops extensively between when we're not growing a cash crop. So an example here, this is a very quick cash crop of cowpea, buckwheat and millet. 8 weeks we can turn that in, and then we can get a cash crop growing in there, potatoes or garlic or onions, whatever it is we're looking to grow. And at the same time we've got the lines of trees growing, creating the microclimate that we're looking for. Another thing that I'm really keen for is to create perches for the birds of prey, the owls or the falcons during the day, or the owls at night, in order to, when we grow grains here, we can run into a rat problem. The thing is that they've got to be trees that will grow here without being artificially looked after. They've got to be able to survive on their own. Economically, they've got to be trees that play a part in the order of the farm, in that they are producing something that is benefiting the whole, but also in some ways going to be benefiting us. So I look at, for instance, one of the trees that we're going to plant here is Paulownia. We've grown them here before. We know they grow well in this environment. They're a good timber tree, they're a good fodder tree. They drop their leaves in the winter, which means then we get that open canopy during the winter months when our light intensity is less. Makes it really good for growing things underneath them. Then they produce the mass of flowers, and the honey flow is amazing off them, so they're bringing in the beneficial insects as well. So mixed in amongst that, we want other trees as well, legume trees. There's all sorts of different legume trees, fruit trees, trees that you can actually harvest fruit off, and also trees that are beneficial to the other trees as well.
So Adam, will you sort of cut and drop? Will you prune these trees?
Heavily
will you
prune,
use them for biomass?
Yeah.
And so use it as part of your fertilizer of your main crop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our biggest thing here is that being in the tropics, our turnover of organic matter is very fast. And we're constantly having to build organic matter. That has to be almost our number one job, is to build humus. And to build humus, you've got to have organic matter. And so we are always looking at how we can constantly incorporate organic matter into the system, whether it be through green manure crops, where it's from the stubble of the existing crop that we grew. So for instance, not harvesting, like if you're growing corn and everything, returning most of the plant to the ground. The chop and drop of all the trees, it's this constant just recycling of the organic matter as much as we can. So the way I look at this is that there are many systems out there. There's organics, there's biodynamics, there's permaculture, there's syntropic farming, there's regen ag, you go on and on. And there are people looking at all these different systems, and people are specialising in one area or another. I'm a farmer, so for me, when it comes down to it, I'm looking for what will work for us.